Hi guys, so I'm here with another video to talk more about the FTC and COPPA stuff going around. So there's some updates that are making things sound a little more positive now. And this is why in my last video when I talked about the future of my channel, I said I wasn't going to be making any moves or decisions with my channel right now, because I knew that if enough people spoke out, there's a good possibility things could change. And it's looking like this is gonna be happening. So all those people out there that went and made the rash decision to delete their channel and their videos and all of that are gonna have to start all over from scratch, unfortunately. But there is some positive changes. Now, before I get into that, I also wanted to talk about another misconception that's been going around, and that is about the new YouTube terms of service that is going into effect on December 10th. And a lot of creators out there were getting really, really confused with the wording. There's not a whole lot that has changed on the terms of service. I watched a video that someone did, and I believe it was another lawyer that was going through the terms of service one by one and kind of explaining what they mean legally. And to be quite honest, there isn't a whole lot that has changed in the terms of service. The terms of service are almost exactly the same. All they've done is change the wording of it. And the wording on one part is what was throwing people off. And that is that YouTube will be removing anything that is not commercially viable. And a lot of people were panicked about that. And that's why I think that was one of the main reasons a lot of people decided to delete their channel, because they felt that commercially viable meant that if their videos weren't making YouTube money, any money, that YouTube would terminate their channel or take down their videos or whatever. And that is absolutely false. So I was looking more into it last night, and I'm going to read to you how someone explained what this commercially viable means. So the whole thing about YouTube taking down videos that aren't commercially viable is false. Basically, it doesn't mean they're going to take down channels that make no money. It means that they will take down videos that aren't advertiser friendly. So in other words, like things that violate the terms of service, like violence, adult content, nudity, those kind of things, which already existed. It already existed. They just reworded it. So guys, you don't have to worry about that. Even if your channel is small or you don't monetize your videos are not going to be deleted as long as they're not violating any terms of service in terms of you're uploading something bad, like violent or sexual or whatever. You're not going to be affected by that. Another thing that it also means is that they'll just be ending little used or outdated parts of the YouTube service, not actual videos or channels. And someone explained it a little better. They said that was, that was always on the terms of service. They just made it more clear now. YouTube made it clear it's not really about channels, it's about features. So example, they can end the chat feature on the website or the old creator studio because supporting those features is no longer commercially viable for them because no one really uses them anymore. And now that the new Creator Studio is out, like, they're wanting people to use that instead of the classic Creator Studio. So, you know, they'll phase out the old Creator Studio for the new one because the old one's just not commercially viable anymore. So that's all that means, guys. So I wanted to address that first because I felt it was really important that people know what that means. So there's that. Excuse me. Another thing that came to my attention is that part of the FTC and the COPPA law actually has a section in the law for videos that are of a mixed audience, and that would be what us reborn collectors fall into, is a mixed audience. In terms of that, I believe, you know, from what I've heard from a lot of the reborn channels that I watch, you know, we're all adults that make these videos, and so when we make our videos, we make them with other adults in mind. We're having conversations with other adult collectors, but there is obviously always that potential that a child will watch our video. Doesn't mean our video is targeted to kids. We do not, that is not our target audience. Our target audience is other adult collectors, but there is that potential that a child could watch our video. That counts as a mixed audience. And apparently YouTube actually had, I guess, the decision, like, they could have given us 3 choices. They could have given us, this video is for kids, this video is not for kids, or this video is for a general audience. And they opted not to give us the general audience feature, and that really makes me mad. There is a claim, I don't know how true it is, but there is a claim that the reason they did not give us that option is because they would lose money. Like, it would be too costly for them to put that option in or something like that. And this apparently came from someone who works high up in YouTube that made some anonymous phone calls to other creators who were speaking out against COPPA and FTC and informed them of this. Now, I don't know how true this is in terms of YouTube not wanting to give us the general audience button. But I do suggest that if you have Twitter, go and tweet YouTube about it and just tell them that we would really like a general audience feature. I've done it. A lot of creators have done it. So again, you know, speaking out, telling them what we would like, it could help. Also, I believe there is a new petition going around about that I have signed, and I will link to both of the petitions. One is a petition for the FTC, and one is a petition about YouTube and, you know, possibly giving us this feature. I'll put a link to both of those petitions in the description of this video for you to go check out. However, with that said, the FTC released a new statement, I guess it was about a week ago now. They released a new statement that clarifies some things for us in terms of this mixed audience. And it's been really helpful. I really read it through. I've read it twice. And while some parts make things a little more clear, there are some other parts that are still a bit vague. But I then went onto YouTube and I watched some video of creators, of like a creator kind of going through it and explaining what they felt that these terms mean. And I kind of have to agree. And so with that said, I'm going to read to you. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I will link to the article in the description of this video if you want to go and read the entire thing, and I suggest that you do. But it is on the FTC's website, so it's an official document from the FTC, And basically, YouTube channel owners, is your content directed to children? And this is going to explain a lot. So the article's really long, but I wanted to highlight a couple of things that they say in this article because I think it's really, really important for us as creators, especially those creators that fall in that what we were thinking was a gray area. I think this is going to help. Okay, so, you know, it kind of summarizes the FTC action against YouTube and Google, which we all know the backstory on that, about the whole, like, you know, they allege that companies illegally collected personal information in violation of COPPA, blah, blah, blah. We all know about that. Then, of course, there's the Coppa Recap about how it came into effect in 1998, this and that. So it's all about kids under the age of 13 that it covers. Okay, so there is a section about how COPPA applies to channel owners, but it's, again, more the summary of what we already know. I want to get to the parts that help us understand things better. So this is, the FTC is telling us how channel owners can determine if their content is directed to children. So it says, under COPPA, there is no one-size-fits-all answer about what makes a site directed to children, but we can offer some guidance. So, to be clear, your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. Okay? That line in itself is very important for us creators that are falling in that gray category where we're making content with adults in mind, but there might be some kids that see our videos. So let me read that again. To be clear, your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. That's fantastic news. It says, however, if your intended audience is kids under 13, then you are covered by COPPA and you have to honor the rules requirements. Again, that to me, that exempts us because in the FTC's law, or the COPPA law, where they were discussing the mixed audience, they said mixed audience are completely exempt from COPPA. You do not have to worry about complying if you have a mixed audience. And this is basically what this is saying here. We all know who our intended audiences are. We know our intended audiences are other adult collectors. So if you are intending your videos as, like, if you are saying, okay, I'm specifically creating content for kids under 13, then you have to follow COPPA. But if you are not, it doesn't fall under that. So it says the rule sets out additional factors that the FTC will consider in determining whether your content is child-directed. And this is where, at the beginning, a lot of people were thinking these things would not be considered, that it was all just going to be visual, that it was like, if there's a doll in your video, the FTC is automatically going to say it's for kids. This is not true, according to what this says. So they will be considering the subject matter. So if we're talking about subject matters that do not apply to kids, that are adult subject matters, they will take that into consideration. Okay, and then they will also be taking into consideration the visual content. The use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives. From what I heard, I don't know, like the child-oriented activities, I don't know if like reborn roleplay videos would fall under that. They may, I don't know. That's kind of still unclear, but I feel like anything like, you know, a chat and change sort of video, if you're talking about an adult sort of themed topic or something that's not applying to kids at all, then I don't think we have to worry. The kind of music or other audio content, that's still a little unclear. I'm not really sure what would constitute. I mean, my doll break intro has like kind of upbeat music. I don't know if they could look at my doll break intro as geared toward kids because it's sort of like lighthearted and I'm introducing the dolls in my collection, but at the same time, like, my doll break intro is basically a parody of 19 Kids and Counting. That was my intention with it, is like a parody of that, because I always, like, my mom always made jokes like when I would post my group pictures every year of my collection, and she'd be like, oh, it's, you know, like Kate plus 8 or like, you know, 19 Kids and Counting kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I think that would be hilarious to do a parody of that for my intro. So I don't know. The age of the models, now I don't have kids in my videos, so I don't see that being a problem. I mean, and there's no models either, like they're dolls modeling baby clothes. I don't know. I don't think we have to worry about that. The presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children. Again, I don't have anything like that in my video. In my videos. Language and other characteristics of the site. Whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children. I honestly don't know what kind of advertisements come up on my channel. I don't know, because YouTube is the one that puts them on my videos. So I really don't know what kind of ads I get. Like, if you guys watch my videos and you see the ads on my videos, let me know what kind of ads I actually get on my videos, because I don't really know. And the final determining factor, which is a factor that a lot of us didn't think was going to be taken into consideration, is competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience, which, guys, that would be our analytics. That would be our analytics. And I looked at my analytics again, and I know that the one thing is that analytics will not show viewers under 13, generally speaking. I don't think they do. Actually, let me just quickly go in to YouTube Studio on my phone. Analytics, audience. Yeah, so they only show like ages 13 and older, obviously. But the good part about it is that in the past 28 days, only 4.8% of my viewers have been between the ages of 13 and 17. So that in and of itself would show that, like, younger audience is not really there. My main audience goes from anywhere from age 18 to age 44. Those are where the highest percentages are. And so by what I'm reading on the FTC, on this article, it sounds like they would actually look at our analytics. So I personally think this is really good news. Now, it goes on to say the determination of whether content is child-directed will be clearer in some contexts than in others, but we can share some general rules of thumb. First, unless you're affirmatively targeting kids, affirmatively. I'm not affirmatively targeting kids. There are many subject matter categories where you don't have to worry about COPPA. For example, if your videos are about traditionally adult activities like employment, finances, politics, home ownership, home improvement, or travel, you're probably not covered unless your content is geared toward kids. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us discuss topics of that nature in our videos while changing a doll or whatever. So I think we're okay. The same would be true for videos aimed at high school and college students. On the other hand, excuse me, if your content includes traditional children's pastimes or activities, it may be child-directed. For example, the FTC recently determined that an online dress-up game was child-directed. So again, that part is still a little unclear or gray. I don't know if they would consider like role play in that. I don't know. Second, just because your video has bright colors or animated characters doesn't mean you're automatically covered by COPPA. So it says, while many animated shows are directed to kids, the FTC recognizes that there can be animated programming that appeals to everyone. So therefore, you wouldn't have to worry. Third, the complaint in the YouTube case offers some examples of channels the FTC considered to be directed to children. For example, many content creators explicitly stated in their About section of their YouTube channel that their intended audience was children under 13. So just that in itself makes me almost wonder, like, if we did, I've seen some people do this already, and I didn't know if it would count, but I'm wondering if, like, we did put a disclaimer on our videos saying, our videos are intended for age 13 and up. If you are under the age of 13, click off. I wonder if just that in itself would help, because they're saying that you know, they went after channels that explicitly stated in the About section that their audience was for kids under 13. Other channels made similar statements in communications with YouTube. In addition, many of the channels featured popular animated children's programs or showed kids playing with toys or participating in other child-oriented activities. So again, like, I don't think that falls with our videos. Some of the channel owners also enabled settings that made their content appear when users searched for the names of popular toys or animated characters. It says, want to see the FTC's analysis and context, read pages 10 to 14 of the YouTube complaint, and they give a link where you can read that. Finally, if you've applied the factors listed in the COPPA rule and still wonder if your content is directed to children, it might help to consider, now listen to this carefully, it might help to consider how others view your content and content similar to yours. And I think that speaks in itself, that all of us here in the Reborn community that are adult creators and collectors, we've all stated that we view each other as adult intended videos. So, I mean, like, that's a big factor. It says, has your channel been reviewed on sites that evaluate content for kids? No. Is your channel or channels like yours mentioned in blogs for parents of younger children or in media articles about child-directed content? No. Have you surveyed your users, or is there other empirical evidence about the age of your audience? Analytics. Also, even just the comment section, you can see that it's practically all adults that are commenting and watching my videos. So this is like fantastic. This is making things a lot clearer, in my opinion. Now, the only downside is like, well, then what do we mark our videos? Because we don't have a general audience button. But my understanding, and a lot of people's understanding then, is that, like, if you go through all of that and you're saying that your intended audience is not kids under the age of 13, then you mark your videos as not for kids. That's the way I'm looking at it. And that's probably why YouTube didn't put a general audience, because a lot of people are saying that saying your video is not for kids is considered general audience, because if it was, if saying it's not for kids means it's mature adult content, then you would actually have to put the 18 plus category on your video, which that doesn't apply to us. We're not like X-rated or all that stuff. So, you know, I try not to swear in my videos and things like that. I try to be family friendly. So that would be mixed audience. So I think from my understanding is it sounds like we're safe just saying our videos are not for kids. Of course, I still haven't gone ahead and marked my channel as such, because I'm waiting for maybe even more clearer information to come out. But the fact that the FTC has already tried to clarify things is a step in the right direction, and it makes me feel confident that come January, we're going to have a clear picture of what to label our videos. And who knows, as I say, if we reach out to YouTube and we tweet them or we sign the petitions, maybe they will even change and give us that general audience option, which will totally take the guesswork out of anything. But yeah, I think like just from what I'm reading here, like the fact that they actually state that even if some kids may view your content, if your intention is not gearing towards kids under the age of 13, then our videos are not for kids. And it says, what are the possible penalties for violating Coppa? So we've heard about that $42,000 fine, but the thing is this also kind of plays it down a bit more. It says the rule allows civil penalties of up to $42,530 per violation, but the FTC considers a number of factors in determining the appropriate amount to fine, including a company's financial condition and the impact a penalty could have on its ability to stay in business. Most of us out here are not a company. We are not a company. We're just people at home making videos. So I don't think they're going to slap us with a $42,000 fine. From the way they're saying this, like they're going to take into consideration a lot of factors before they're not just going to go and like slap fines on everyone. They're going to look at the overall picture. They're going to look at our content, subject matter, analytics, everything, and also our own intended audience. And my intended audience is not kids. And I think all of us can safely say that. So that's good. Now, also, isn't the FTC taking another look at the Coppa rule? Yes. The FTC is currently evaluating the rule in light of rapid changes in technology. And then, of course, it links to where you can leave your comment, which I've linked in other videos before. So, guys, I really feel like this really clarifies a lot. I feel like after reading that it's safe to label our videos not for kids. However, there's still that, when you read the actual law, that whole thing about the general audience or mixed audience, that part is still a little unclear in terms of that if you say your video is not for kids, does that include a mixed audience? That part hasn't been clarified yet, which is why I haven't gone ahead and labeled any videos yet, because as I said, my hope is that after they meet on December 9th to review everything, or December, I don't know when the exact date is. I know that the deadline to submit comments to the FTC is December 9th. But I don't know exactly. I don't know if they're meeting on the 10th or 11th or what. But I'm assuming it'll be somewhere around there. That's why I'm just waiting to see, because they may change some things with the rules and lighten up a little, or they may even make things even more clearer than what I just read. But to me, it sounds like a step in the right direction to clarify things for us creators so that we can make the right decision for our channel and label things appropriately and not have to worry about these fines. And the fact that, you know, they're saying they're going to look at a company's financial status before determining what to fine them. Well, we're not companies. We're not millionaires. We don't have like a crap ton of money. So I can't see them even, like, they may not fine us at all, or it may be like a small like monetary fee or whatever. I don't know, but I feel like things have been clarified a little bit better. And that gives me hope that things are even going to be even more clarified. So like I said, I'm just holding off. I am not going to go ahead and label my videos yet. I want to see if they're going to give us a general audience feature, or I want to know if they're going to come out and explain to us that choosing to label our videos not for kids is general audience. Because the one video I watched on YouTube that went through the FTC statement that I just went through, a lot of the comments in the videos, you know, people are saying, so then why won't YouTube give us a general audience button and it will solve everything? But then other people piped in and said, well, marking your video not for kids is the general audience. Like, people don't seem to realize that, but that's what that means. But there hasn't been, in my opinion, there hasn't been anything in writing from YouTube or the FTC that has actually come out and said that if you label your video not for kids, that's considered mixed audience. It kind of sounds like it from what I just read, with them saying about, you know, if your audience is not, and, you know, intentionally under 13 and your analytics show that, and your subject matter of your video shows that, and, you know, then it doesn't matter if it's just a couple of kids that end up watching your video or just some kids. It's only if the majority of your videos is for kids, or if you are like affirmatively directing your content at kids. That's where you have to label it for kids, is how I'm reading that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Like, do you think what I read just now, do you think that that basically means we can label our videos not for kids and that will cover under the general audience? Or do you think we really should push YouTube to give us that general audience feature? I don't know, but I've noticed, like, I haven't seen anyone in the reborn community talking about this statement from the FTC, so I don't know if a lot of people are aware of it. But it came out a week ago on the 22nd, and I feel like it was really important to make this video and talk about it for all of us in the reborn community and YouTube in general. It's really important that we are aware of this, because I think it's making things hopeful. So for those who have not made rash decisions and deleted their channel, don't delete your channel. Do not delete it. Do not label anything yet. Don't do anything. Just wait. And we'll see if, you know, as the month of December moves on, maybe we'll get even more clarification on how to, you know, if our videos are definitely not for kids, do we put not for kids, or are they going to, is YouTube going to introduce the general audience feature? I don't know what is going to happen with that, but I definitely suggest check the description of this video. I've linked to the new petition as well as the old petition if you haven't signed it yet. And I encourage both viewers and creators to sign it, because as I said, like, a lot of channels are already disappearing and deleting, and the viewers are being affected by that then, because this is content that they enjoyed watching and it's now disappearing. So if you are a viewer and you're upset about all of this as well, you need to go and sign the petitions. And then also I'm going to link to the full article that I just discussed so that you can go and read it yourself. Because if you want to review anything that I touched upon in this video, you can go and read it yourself and then comment below. Like, what do you think? What do you think we should do? Do you think that this gives us more clarity? Do you think that we're safe now to label our videos as not for kids? Do you think not for kids falls under general audience? What do you think? I think my big concern is that I don't want to lose end screens. I don't want to lose cards. I don't want to lose likes and dislikes. And I don't want to lose comments on my videos, because those are all ways to connect with you guys. And it's also ways to help your channel continue to be found and grow. I don't want to lose playlists and all that kind of stuff. So it's really important to me that, you know, if I can totally get away with labeling my videos as not for kids and I won't have to worry about the FTC coming after me, then that's great, because that means if I do that, I'm not going to lose any of those features. And I know for us in the adult community, like, those features are big for us, because that's our way of connecting with each other and supporting each other and sharing the hobby together. So yeah, anyways, that's it. This video ended up being a lot longer than I intended, as usual, but it's a lot of information to cover, but I really definitely wanted to get it out there for everyone. And again, check the description below, sign the petitions, leave a comment to the FTC, tweet YouTube about a general audience button, and go in and review the full article that I've discussed in this video. And also don't worry about the commercially viable nonsense. As long as you're not violating terms of service in terms of violent content or inappropriate content, don't worry. YouTube's not going to delete your videos or delete your channels for no reason at all. And it also, like I said, it's mostly focusing on features of YouTube that are no longer commercially viable for them, that are no longer really being used. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I feel like things are going to get better, and it's not going to be as awful as we think. Everyone was in a panic, and I understand it, because the language was very vague. It was very vague, and I was very scared and concerned and worried. But I tried to, like, keep optimism and try to hope that, you know, the outrage from everyone was going to push YouTube and the FTC to clarify things or change things. And it looks like that is the direction it's going in now. So sit tight. Don't make any rash decisions. Read everything. Educate yourself. And let's hope that in the next few weeks, we will have even more information to help us make informed decisions on our channel. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. And I hope you found it useful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.